Imagine waking up every morning knowing that a giant wants to fight you. Not just a tall man, but a terrifying warrior, over 9 feet tall, covered in heavy armor, carrying a massive spear, and shouting insults at you and your people. This was the situation for the army of Israel. They were camped on one hill, and their enemies, the Philistines, were camped on another. Between them lay a wide valley. Every day, a giant named Goliath stepped into that valley. He laughed at the Israelites. He mocked their God, and he challenged them to fight. Goliath shouted, "Choose one man to fight me. If he wins, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." But no one stepped forward. Not the soldiers, not the generals, not even King Saul. Fear filled the camp. For 40 days, Goliath repeated his challenge, and for 40 days, the Israelites listened, frozen and silent. Far from the battlefield, there lived a young shepherd boy named David. David was the youngest in his family and not a soldier. His job was simple: watch the sheep. Day after day, he protected them from danger, fighting off lions and bears when they attacked. In those quiet fields, David learned to trust God, and he often sang songs of praise as he worked. One day, David's father asked him to bring food to his older brothers who were serving in the army. David obeyed and traveled to the battlefield. When he arrived, he heard Goliath shouting his usual insults. David watched as trained soldiers trembled and backed away. Confused, David asked, "Why is no one standing up to this man? Why is everyone so afraid?" The soldiers answered, "This giant has defeated many warriors. No one can beat him." But David saw something they didn't. He said, "This man is insulting the living God. The same God who helped me defeat lions and bears will help me defeat him too." Soon, word of David's courage reached King Saul. David was brought before the king, who looked at him with doubt and said, "You are only a boy, and Goliath has been a warrior since his youth." David replied calmly, "The Lord who protected me before will protect me again." With no better choice, Saul agreed. He tried to dress David in heavy armor, but it was too big and uncomfortable. David could barely move, so he took it off. Instead, David picked up what he knew best: his staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. Then the shepherd boy walked into the valley to face the giant. When Goliath saw David, he laughed loudly. "Am I a dog," he said, "that you come at me with sticks?" He cursed David and threatened to kill him. But David did not insult him back. He stood firm and said, "You come at me with sword and spear, but I come at you in the name of the Lord." Today, everyone will know that the battle belongs to God. As Goliath moved closer, David ran toward him. He placed a stone into his sling, swung it with all his strength, and released it. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath in the forehead. The giant collapsed and fell face down to the ground. The battlefield went silent. David had no sword of his own, so he took Goliath's sword and ended the fight. The giant was defeated. When the Philistines saw their champion fall, they panicked and ran. The Israelites, filled with new courage, chased after them and won a great victory. David did not win because he was stronger or bigger. He won because he trusted God. This story is not just about a boy and a giant. It is about faith overcoming fear. Goliath represents the giants we all face: fear, doubt, insecurity, and challenges that seem impossible. David shows us that our size, age, or experience does not define what we can overcome. David did not focus on how big the giant was. He focused on how great God was. The lesson is simple and powerful. You don't need to be the strongest or the most confident to face your giants. You need courage, faith, and the willingness to take the first step when everyone else is standing still. Because sometimes, the greatest victories begin with faith. And sometimes, all it takes to defeat a giant is the courage to believe that you are not facing it alone.